And you got a chance to play for with 4 different head coaches, and you won
Mhm.
Super Bowls with 2 of those head coaches.
Yep.
Which coach did you enjoy playing for the most?
If I
BG.
had to say, that's a good one. Well, you know what? I'm happy that I started with Coach Reed, especially coming in because he taught me really how to be a pro and how a coach should be when, like, you make a mistake. He was a guy that really moved on after he got on you, and then he
Mhm.
moved on. And then y'all had him when y'all was a little older. So I didn't get him as a vet. I got him as a young guy. And so I
Right.
really didn't get a chance to experience him like I did most of these other coaches. So I would have to go with first Doug because Doug was cool just like Nick, it's Doug and Nick at the same time. I mean, I learned a lot of even with old boy Chip Kelly. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. I ain't
Yeah.
had no beef. I ain't had no beef, but I just didn't like some of the stuff he was doing with others because you see how other people get treated, even though
Mhm.
you're not getting treated like that. It's more like what other guys getting treated like, and I'm like it's just messed up when you see it like that because if I wasn't nobody I probably get treated like that too, and it not saying that should matter, but you know how I go in the real world. You
Right.
watch people on how they treat other people they think they don't need, and so
Right.
but it was Coach Reed. I go Doug, and then Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, the
Yeah.
one thing about Coach Reed I can say, like you just explained, man, the one attribute that Coach Reed have is he has a strange way of not holding grudges, right? He
Hmm.
likes to move on, and that is so wonderful to have as a coach because a lot of these coaches hold grudges against a player when a player doesn't do something the way they think it should. They want it to be done or the way they taught it. There's so
Yep.
many different instances where coaches can hold grudges, and Coach Reed will let you tell you that right up front. I remember me and Deshaun Jackson got caught after curfew, and he was like, "Man, I don't hold grudges. We're gonna get this over with. We're gonna move on." And that's
Hmm.
exactly what he did, man. Shout out to Coach Reed. So Coach Reed, you say Coach Reed, Doug, and then Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, because I got to go Doug because Doug brought me my first championship in my career.
Right,
I ain't never had one where I got a ring, and I ain't never played that last game, even to lose it. So when I finally got there, it was in the Super Bowl in the league, so it was like, man, that was everything, and
right,
he made it fun.
right.
So that was the
And
biggest thing.
and Doug isn't nothing but an extension of Andy Reid. He learned from Andy
Hmm.
Reid. He was the quarterback coach from there. I remember, how we used to go at it in practice. Doug would always run up to me. We're gonna get you today, son. We're gonna get you. This. And next thing you
Yeah.
know, he popped up. He was the head coach. I'm like, what do you know, man? I had no clue, man. So I,
Uh
I,
huh.
I love those guys too, man. I love those guys.
Man, I remember them days, boy. Them days flew by, man. We had so much fun. Oh,
That was
the
the first
grind of
thing.
it was the grind of it was crazy, but for the most part, just thinking about it, like you, Vic, shoot, I mean Macklin, DJ, like just a bunch of just personalities that just man, I wish we
Yeah,
all could have got one early on
yeah,
together for real.
yeah, yeah. No doubt, no doubt. Life is life. It's all good.
It
Now,
is all good though.
Yeah,
It's all
it's
good.
all good. What was the difference in both those teams that made you all champions in your opinion? With Nick Sirianni and then Coach Doug. What was the
Uh,
difference in those teams that made y'all champions?
Well, those coaches are players coaches, people that can relate and that can stay consistent because it's all about consistency. It's like how are you when we losing? How do you when we lose a game? How are you?
Mhm,
Are you everything that we've been talking about in training camp? Now that everything is for the marbles, how are you changing up? Are you? So I felt like when you start off, it starts from the top always with the coaches and man, when we talking and having like because now we have like a little leadership, well we had it with Doug too, like a leadership council where you got some of the
mhm,
top guys, like probably like 10 to 11 of the top guys on the team, and you have guys that, hey, this is my message for the week. Hey,
mhm,
tell your guys, get ready. We got to go get it this on Wednesday. No, we got pads today. Or coach, hey man, them boys. All it's give and take. And then
mhm,
on top of that, we building with a bunch of good guys that's building to really like rock with each other, at least while we at work. And
mhm,
man, it turned into more than that, especially as the season go. People out
mhm,
there balling, playing their game, and we handling adversity well. The way you talking to the media, because all that stuff, man. When we look back, because Nick do it too. He looked back at all those interviews after the game. All every week he will always post the interviews on how guys talking about their teammates and being great teammates, not interjecting themselves in other people's business and all that little stuff. Even though I had that thing happen this year, I owned it, moved on, and
Right.
that's what I feel is important for both
Exactly.
teams. Man, you gotta have stuff that pop up. You gotta own it, and then you gotta be able to move on and not
Yeah.
let the media keep pressing something that
Yes.
should already be done and squashed, and then after that, it shouldn't be like, don't let nobody know about what's going on with y'all. Y'all gotta make sure y'all keep it tight, and that's when I know you got a good team. And so I
Right.
felt like both of those teams did a good job of keeping everything in house and making sure that we worked every day, because you definitely got to go out there and work in order for it to show up in the game.
Right. And like you say, the situation you had, the adversity, how you handle it, how you deal with it. Does everyone, let the conquer and divide thing happen in
Oh yeah,
situations like that? But no, adversity, you handled it well. I saw it as BG, he was getting into media and he didn't really understand. He just kind of jumped out there and was, just being
Mhm.
anxious about what he said. And then he had to, figure out like,
Yeah.
hey, let
How
me
we can how we can make it right. You know what I'm
how I can
saying?
make it right and not like
Yeah.
let me double down and double down on that I was right. No, let me make it right, make everybody feel comfortable, own up to what my fault of the situation is, and like he said, that was make tape championship teams. You put it all out in front. You have coaches, the coach type players, and things like that, and you build that chemistry, man. I like to
Yeah.
see it. I like to see it. When you first jumped out there, like I was like, "Whoa, BG
I
in the
know.
media! What is he saying? What is
I
going?"
know, I know. I was like, dang, man. After I said it, boy, that phone was blowing up. I was just like, dang,
I can imagine.
man.
I even wanted to reach out to you
Yeah,
behind the scenes, but I was like, "Don't do it," because I know everybody's already reaching out to you. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It was cool though. It was cool
Yeah,
though. I owned it. Talked to the team. Talked to the
yeah,
guys, and it was just like, hey, man. My bad for that one. But
yeah. And
let's
everybody can respect that. Everybody is going to respect that when you can own up your mistakes, be truthful that you were wrong. Who doesn't respect that? You see what
I
I'm
know,
saying?
man.
So
And
yeah,
I
no doubt.
lived through it, during the year, because it didn't just go back to being normal a little bit. It took a little minute, but I had to stay
Yeah,
consistent with who I was, and being like, look, man, hey, I made my mistake, but we got to keep it moving. And every
yeah.
time something would come up, I would just make sure they know, hey, man, I'm still where I'm at. I'm still good. Everything
Mhm.
good this way. Let's just
Yeah,
keep it rolling. Let's
yeah,
not mess this up. That's
yeah.
my biggest thing.
Let's not
Let's
mess
not
this
mess
up.
this up.
Let's
Cause
not
man, we
mess
got an
this up.
opportunity of a lifetime, boy. Let's
Yes,
go do it.
and y'all conquered it for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
By the process of elimination, we already know this answer, but which coach was the least enjoyable to play for? And I assume that's going to be Chip Kelly already. I didn't get
Yeah,
to play for Chip Kelly or Nick Sirianni, but tell me how you feel about Chip Kelly and why it was least enjoyable. Like you say, you don't have beef, but
yeah.
tell me who was the least
I
enjoyable and
I
why.
think it was just because, I mean, man, of course he's a college level coach, and he brought a lot of that college stuff here. I mean, I'm all about learning my body, all the sports science and all that stuff, but it's just like, stuff should be not mandatory. It's a funny, how I go, oh, you should be here, but it's not mandatory for you to be here. But it's like,
Mhm.
come on, like, no, like that gray area, man. And so I think for him, he just wasn't as good of a player's coach. It was more about, this is what I do. This is my
Mhm.
show, and you're gonna have to you're gonna have to bow down to it. And
Yeah,
in the league it's different. It's so
yeah,
different. And even
yeah.
now in college now it's even different because they're getting paid now. So
Right,
you gotta kind of give and take with your guys. And I
right.
just think that he
Mhm.
didn't know how to check that ego at the door with a lot of the guys too. Cause I mean it's certain, you can't coach everybody the same. You can't talked, with everybody the same, man. And like the way he did D-Jack, and then the way he did McCoy, it was just like all that, man. And I was trying to win, man. At that time in my career, I'm
Right,
like, we trying to win. What we doing? But
right.
I felt like when that was a tough one, but it
Yeah.
taught me some things in there too. There's some good stuff in there too, because I played special teams, and he really had me. Even though I didn't play special teams since with Coach Reed, when he came, he made me play all four, and it kind of made me love the game even more because it was like, all right, you're gonna try to put me out there, you're gonna try to make me, go do something I ain't never did. But you know what? I don't care. It don't matter. It's ball, and it turned into something way better than I even thought it would be when I took it serious.
Mm,
And man, I ended up. I feel like I prolonged my career a little longer, even doing that. Letting Howie and them know that it wasn't just about just the defense and stuff. I just want to go out there and play ball, and
yeah,
and so that's what ended up happening. But
yeah.
yeah, Chip
True.
just should have shit. He had a good little thing going, man. He had all the power, but he just
Yeah,
didn't. He just
yeah,
wasn't trying to get rid of, like, give some of his power away to some of the
yeah.
players, and you know how that go.
Yeah, I like you said, like we talked about with you in the media and things like that. I think it was a new experience for Chip Kelly, and sometimes people don't handle those new situations the correct way, and they think they're supposed to do it my way or the highway instead of adapting to the adversity and making changes and adjusting on the fly. And that's what I see happening, man. It was like you say, he had too much power too early, and he didn't know how to deal with it. Couldn't check that ego at the door. And like you said, it was so unfortunate, man. Had so much talent on that team. And
Man,
besides his personality and his attitude, I think Chip Kelly, he puts a good system together and he knows how to
yeah,
coach. But you got to know
yeah.
how to lead grown men at the end of the day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
At this level, I mean, because it's like, look, we all getting paid. Some of them getting paid more than you, but
Right.
it's like, and then even it's just give and take. You got to have give and take in the league, and I just think that's why he was my least favorite because
Yeah.
he didn't care about none of that.
Right. It was his way or the highway, basically.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Trading the best players. That's crazy.
Ooh, man, best players, and I know it's a business, but dog, like
He
most of
was
the
making a
time,
statement with that, man. It
it
was like,
just it's
I'm
just
gonna show
like.
y'all.
Yes, like you think you got the power. No, I got the power. And so
I got
that's
the power.
that's really what it was.
Yeah, yeah.